YouTube. It is your girl Trisha, just checking back in with a Saturday evening message. This is kind of short, but for anybody who is new to the channel, welcome. Nice to meet y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to send this video to someone who you think it may help. But a little bit about myself. My name is Latricia. I am a nonprofit owner of Let's Direct Our Own Path, where I do mentorships, where I do one-on-one, and also provide housing for those who are in need. I am also a nurse by profession and, advocate for change. Just trying to push the message of positivity out there to anybody who feels they need it, and just also a way for me to share my growth and understanding as I evolve and learn who I am, that I'm also able to teach others through, my style of learning. So if you are feeling your girl, you know what to do. But anyway, what I want to talk to you about is don't look back. Do not look back, because your destiny is ahead. And sometimes during this journey, it can get discouraging. You can feel like, will I ever really make it there? And I want to tell you, yes, you can make it there. Whether you're a single mother, whether you're a single father, or whether you're in a relationship, you guys will make it. I can tell you, by me being a single mother, I came up with all kind of excuses before actually diving into this journey of why I couldn't do it on my own. And to be honest with you, I hindered myself for years, just waiting and trying to depend on others, and also allowing them to just mishandle me, and me not having enough self-esteem or willpower to say enough is enough. But it does come a time when you have to take a stand in accountability of who you are. And that is the point where I'm saying don't look back, because your destiny is at hand. And in this season, especially if you've been doing the work, if you've been walking with God, or if you've just been trying to seek Him, I'm going to tell you, it's going to come a season in your life where people will mock you. They're going to criticize who you are. They're going to criticize if you actually have faith. They're going to criticize and bring up and try to dredge out your past, everything. I want to tell you, it is okay for the people to do that. That's how you should know that your transformation is there. This is how you should know that you have stepped into the right atmosphere, because warfare is kicking up there. And I don't want you to feel like you have to defend yourself in those rooms, because you can feel small. But what I want you to understand is you don't have to defend that person, that version of yours. You don't have to defend that person, because the moment that you had sought God for forgiveness, He healed that. Now, I'm not going to say it won't sting, because it will sting. But what I'm saying is the sting gets less and less over time, because these are the things that God had already worked with you on, so that you can find some acceptance in it. And when He had helped you find those acceptance, He then showed you how to pick them up and utilize them for your own profit. Not something someone else can profit off of you, but for something you can profit off. All those pain, all those tears, all those times you put yourself on clearance, all those days that you had low self-esteem, low self-worth, He said, I want you to get, when He told you to give that all to Him, He said, now let me show you how to maximize this. He said, don't think anything and everything that you went through in life was for no reason. He said it was for a reason. He said, this is why you got to learn how to guard your heart and your own focus in this season. Ooh. He said, when you get to a season of no return, everything you worked for, or that have brought you here, that you understand that you are blessed, that you are being a blessing to others, and that you are a target for this. He said you become a target, not only for the good things, but you become a target for the negative things too. He said you don't get one without, He wished we could, but we don't get one without the other. So He said He wants you to always remember the enemy is studying you, your patterns, your weaknesses, your strengths. He said, you got to remember, Satan was one of his angels. So, yes, he understands his laws, he understands his orders. But in this season, God said, don't fear that. So, don't fear that he knows just as much as you, if not more, because he was one of his angels. God said, you got to understand that you partnered with him and got angels now camped around you. So you can't fear in this season when you got the angels around you, backing you up. And the angels that's around you in this season, those is what the people were fearing. Because they thought they could take you, that they can count you out, that they could discount you. But they didn't realize the angels that was encamped around you. That when they try to come into the force field, they didn't have the access needed to get in. So you got to know what season you are in when these things are happening to you. This is why I'm saying don't look back, because your destiny is ahead. Because your flesh comes with a price. Ooh, yeah. Because, see, when you having to go and talk to people, if you're not careful, you might try to step into your flesh to secure a deal. But you got to understand, flesh comes with a different price. And some of those prices you might not want to pay. Because that is requiring people to say, hey, I can put you on clearance. And God said that ain't how he worked. He said, if you stay in your spirit, yeah, it might take us a little longer to get to the end goal. He said, but at the end of that, you still have your dignity. You still have your righteousness. Ooh. He said, and most of all, you still are in his obedience. So yeah, the price is different. But God said you have to remember that he sustains us through these times. He said that when these people were trying to step out of your step into your flesh, he said, because they're just trying to see where they can have you compromise yourself at. I told y'all before, they're just trying to see where the cracks in your foundation is. But see, what they failed to realize was when you started this walk with God, he asked you to let him see the cracks in the foundation. He said, because he had to see where life spring forth at. And he had to know where he can close up some holes at because it wasn't of his value. And no, that's not always the easiest thing for us to let him see. But see, when you don't understand this, we were trying to get naked for the world. Ooh. So naked it blinded us of who we were. But see, when God calls you and he tells you don't look back because your destiny is ahead. He said that same ambition you was trying to throw out there and use in the streets, he said, no, baby, you got to get that to me and let me show you. He said, just as naked you was trying to be out there in the streets for those, he said, I need this level of nakedness, but now with me. He said, you tell the people in the streets, you got heart, you got heart, you got heart, you got heart. He said, but what you going to do when you let him see what's in your heart? Let him see what he can use. In this season, you want to be careful and you want to move with your right precision. Why am I saying that? Because in Genesis, with Noah, you know, I want to make sure I say this right, and I'm trying to remember the story right now, but in Genesis, the story of Noah and the ark, Noah was getting away with his family because he had stayed in God obedience throughout the mockery, throughout everything that was could be thrown at him, and people was wanting to think he was crazy. Noah understood something when God told him to do something, and he built that boat, and he gathered what he needed to, and he put it on there, whether the people wanted to follow him or not, right? And then he also made sure he got Lot, because that was his friend. And he said, Lot, we're about to be swept away, and you gotta be able to get out. And while they were in Sodom and Gomorrah, remember the angels came to talk to Lot and told Lot, you need to go. Who all do you need up in here? Because we're about to destroy this city. We're about to destroy this city because of the corruption. And when Noah seemed like he couldn't quite move into that realm. You remember when the angels him had to take him and guide him into safety real quick and tell him to keep going and told him go up into the hills. And Noah was like, no, 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 no. I mean, Lot was like, no, 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 that's way too far. Can we go into this little bit of town? He said, you know what? I'm going to grant you this. God said, whatever you asking him for, he's granting this to you. He said, I granted these things that you asked for, that you bargained with me for. When I told you to go here and you're trying to shortstop and go here, he said, I've given you what you needed now. He said, but the flip side is I want you to understand what happened to Lot's wife because she wanted to hold on to the things that was in her past that she was so desperately trying to keep a hold of. And he said, I need you to move this way, but you want to hold on this way. I told y'all in this season, he said, this requires a level of faith that you didn't even know you had. Ooh, I can hear in my head, walk the plank. Oh, yeah, that's funny. He said, walk the plank. He said, this is gonna take a level that is outside of you in order to get it. Because if we're honest with ourselves, some of us have faith, but some of it is just little. And it's not on the level of which he's granted. And he's telling you to think big and bigger, bigger outside the box. And some of us is like, whoa, what is this big box? What's in here? You ever had to keep opening the present and you kept on saying, well, what is it? 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 You know? But anyway, to make a long story short, you guys, in this season, the same way the angels told Lot and his wife and his children and his daughters, don't look back, or you will turn into a pillar of salt. And y'all know how Lot they were going and Lot kept on trying to make sure his wife stayed facing forward, but for some reason her temptation was so great that she had to look back. What am I saying? I'm saying something is going to come in your vicinity. Ooh, that is going to try to get you to look back at it. Ooh. What I'm saying in this season, don't look back at it. It might look good, it might sound good, it might smell good, but you can't look back at that. Could you know how much pain these things cost you? You know the price you had to pay with some of this stuff. And you have to ask yourself, are you willing to pay the same price? Are you willing to turn into dust and forfeit your destiny for looking back in this season? Honey, I told y'all we're wearing heavy crowns in this season. You can't get swept away in the tides. God said, is you anchored in him or not? Oh, he said, are you anchored in me or not? In this season, there's going to be so much that wants to rear its head at you because it's got to try to pull you back into the old system. But see, when you walk through your promised land, this is unscripted, boo. And the plan that you're walking out is that one that God told you to. He said, write a plan, make a vision, and make it plain. Is your vision plain? Can you follow it? Can you see where it was supposed to be directing you? And is it directing you in that direction? Because in this season, your steps are so ordered to that plan that you had wrote down with Jesus. He said, we giving you a strategic plan. He said, and y'all exercising it now, baby. He said, because growth takes perseverance. It's like when we first started reading the Bible, and maybe it's just me, and if it is, I'm going to talk about myself real quick. But it's like when we first read the Bible and we start reading and we're like, what? Like, what? What you say? The real, okay, I'm going to sit this down. I'm going to go back to that later. Pick it up again and you're like, what? We, thou, what? And we be trying to make sense of it and we go, okay, we're going to sit this down. But then we learned there's each time we picked it up, the words start getting a little easier to read. And then one day the words start popping up off that paper for you, huh? And you start saying, ooh, I think I understand this. I think I get something. And if you like me, you go to Dr. Google and you try to confirm what you just thought in your head and you say, what does this mean? Because you got to be able to have some confirmation sometimes. Like, what does this mean? Because you're fed and you got to understand that some of this feeding comes with teaching. Teaching comes with what? Studying. You're going to have to also study to prove yourself worthy. Yeah. He said, he shaped you, he molded you through consistency. You consistently seeking his word. You consistently showing up in your obedience. You consistently staying down into the mission that he has planted with you. He said your consistency was what stretched you into your dimension to where you are now. He said your consistency got you there, baby. He said your obedience got you there, but your consistency to keep searching is what got you into this. To got you to this next level. And as I was thinking about this, it reminded me of when I took this social economics class a few years back, and it was talking about the social ladder and how it was tracking these different families and how with some families it seems like they were able to move up this ladder so easily. And then we had other families because they were like mine workers and I'm just meaning like in the mines and factory workers that when circumstances impacted the city, it impacted them jobs. And jobs were able to like manufacture overseas, all kind of things. And to the point where the social, for some of the people on the social ladder, how they kept being knocked down. What I am saying to you is, it is true. It is true that the social ladder or the things that we go through in this world can shake us. It can be uncertain. And that is just fact. But I can tell you what's another fact. God promise never changes. Ooh. His promise don't change. The one that he gave you, it don't change. Now the obstacles and the things that's in the way that get you off kilter and have you rerouting courses is still leading you back to him. He said, so when businesses shift, when jobs pack up, when relationships end, when your kids are disobedient, when things with the school ain't going right, when different things in your life started to shake. He said, it's true. It's shaking. He said, but one thing you got to remember is his promise with you will not. He said his hands is on you in this season. He's shielding you from your rain and he's leading your path. He said, but you got to make sure in this season that you're following it so closely. He said, so keep your eyes on his son. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Still study Jesus. Know how Jesus is maneuvering during difficult times. He said, if Jesus ain't taught us anything, he taught us some things that weren't even his problem. He said, no. They said, what about helping this person? Jesus said, it's time to go to the next town. It's time to. He said, sometimes you got to know when to pack up and move around, whether that's with family, friends, cousins, co-workers. He said, sometimes you got to look at people and say, you know what? I know I can't. I want to help, but I know I can't. And he said, you got to know when to move. Some of the things and some of the people that you thought you could help, you thought you could love on, you thought you could do these things, they were weighing you down. And in my last video, I told y'all, he said, strip off any and everything. So what am I saying? I'm saying those are the things you don't look back at. Once you recognize and identified a key area that needed to change in your life, what I'm saying is don't look back at that. Think of that as Lot's wife, who looked back and turned into dust. He said, when you look back at those things that you just said, it was so hard to get over, so hard to conquer. He said, well, why would you want to go back to something that was that hard for you to get over and conquer? He said, some of these things was meant to just be broken off for the greater good of who you are. Because see, when you let go of those things that is back there, you loosen the weight that's on you to keep running ahead. And let me tell you what you left back there. Things that kept your family hindered. So not only now are you setting generations that was in the past free, but you're setting generations that's ahead of you free. Oh, he said, and when we get to this point, baby, you got to know what we're fighting for. He said, we're securing legacy. And securing legacy ain't no overnight thing. So this takes work. This takes dedication. I know, he said, I know you want it. I know you have this big dream in your head and you want it all in one day. He said, but this type of work is consistency. This type of work takes work. And I'm going to tell y'all something. And this is so, I don't know if this is off tangent or not, but I was talking to this man about laying towel on the floor. And when I needed him to come out and look at the floor, he was like, well, you know, towels are supposed to be staggered. And he's like, he's talking another language to me. And I'm like, uh-huh. And he was like, well, you do understand why. And I go, no, why? It's a design. That's it, because it's a design. That man said, girl, no. He said, he said, no. I said, well, what? He said, when you stagger something, you make sure you eliminate the gaps. And it builds a stronger foundation of the things that you were trying to do, because now you got one lap and another. He said it's kind of like a shield to the next one, so that it kind of has something to brace on. And when he was talking about this, in my head, all I can hear is, this is the reason partnership. This is the reason teamwork. This is the reason that you don't, when I'm saying don't look back, is I'm saying, where you building your partnership at? And I told y'all, and I don't know, it was probably, I don't know, 9 months ago or something ago. I told y'all to check your teammates. I said, check who's on your team. And if they are building with the same material that you're building with. So when he was talking about this floor and the staggering, because when you're building, you got to make sure that somebody else is helping you close up some of these gaps. That's where the accountability comes in, not only on that other person, but up on you, because it's a reliance that has to happen. And he said in this season, when you're staggering something like this and you're stacking something like this, even when it's coming down to laying towels, he said it's that consistency that has to be up in there. He was telling me about towels. I was learning a whole nother lesson, but I was listening to him. But I was also making sure that I wanted to tell y'all, this is the season that you don't look back, because your destiny is ahead, because you're closing up the gap. You're closing up a gap that you didn't even know you were doing. And yes, it's scary. God said, I got you. He said, in my hands, it's right there on yours. So he said, keep going and keep walking in this season, because your destiny is at hand. Your legacy is at hand. And you got this. And you got this. Again, y'all, it is your girl, Latricia, just checking back in with a quick message. This is Each One Teach One season. So if you see your brother or sister crown tip and help them fix it, you ain't got to tell them you're fixing it, but you should help them fix it. Because in this season, what I'm understanding is we're closing up the gap. Ooh, that's deep. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Take care of each other, love on each other, and don't forget we all we got.